So, as you guys know, the NBA draft is today, and you guys know I always do my yearly check in the draft on my Atlanta Hawks. But of course, before I get into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit, and without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, of course, I need to address the first pick, and quite possibly one of my favorite guys in the draft. Now, that first guy is Jaden Ivy. Now, Jaden Ivy averaged 17.3 points, 5 rebounds, 3.1 assists on 46% shooting. Now, of course, there is rumor that the Atlanta Hawks could definitely trade up to go and get this guy at pick number 4. So I think of addressing that rumor. I think this rumor should be addressed right here. Now, of course, going to the strengths of Jaden Ivy, he is a wonderful size for a combo guard at just around 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a great and explosive athlete. He's really good in mid-air as well. Kind of reminds you a lot of Donovan Mitchell. He is very fast, has a lightning quick first step, and he shot 35.6% from 3, which means he's a very capable perimeter shooter along with a great finisher. He's also great in transition and in one-on-one isolation situations, which are two increasing factors in this league today. Now, of course, with strengths come weaknesses, and there are a couple of weaknesses in the game of Jaden Ivy. Now, Ivy, his mid-range shot can be a little bit streaky at times. He definitely needs to tink it up a little bit. It's not too great. You wish it was a little better at the combo guard position. His ball and off-screen defense can also use some work. His defense is not awful, but it's not particularly great either. It's like a mid-level defense. It's serviceable defense at the college level, and at the NBA level, not only is that a concern for guards in general, given the fact that every great team in the league has a guard, it's also a concern for our fit next to Trae Young, because we know Trae already can't defend himself. I think he needs a great defender next to him. I don't quite know if Ivy fits that mold. Also, there's nothing remarkable about his defense once again, which leads me to question on how he can help us out on the perimeter when it comes to the defensive side. I think the Atlanta Hawks should definitely consider getting Ivy. I think Ivy is one of the most talented, if not the most talented player in this entire draft. I definitely think Ivy could be an intriguing choice at number 4 if the Atlanta Hawks do decide to trade up. Now, of course, going to my next guy, number 2, the guy who I think that if they cannot get Ivy, maybe they can trade up a little lower, 7, 8, 9, even 10, and go on and get Benedict Mathurin. Benedict Mathurin is an excellent wing. 17.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists on 45% shooting. Once again, there is rumor that the Atlanta Hawks could trade up. Ben Mathurin could be an intriguing choice. Now, some strengths. He has amazing size at the guard position at 6'7", nearly 200 pounds, and he's one of the best three-point shooters in the entire draft class, shooting over 39% last season. Also, he's great at getting to the basket and the free throw line. That is always a great thing. I watched him during March Madness, and he was absolutely killing it. The guy can get to the free throw line. He is not scared to drive to the basket. Also, he's aggressive on defense. He has great defensive potential. He is a bulldog. He will really get close to the offensive player and really disrupt the offensive flow of the game. Now, of course, there are some weaknesses, and just like Ivy, Benedict Mathurin's mid-range shot is a little concerning and can get a little streaky. It does need more consistency. And Ben Mathurin's playmaking is not all of that either. While you're probably going to run him at the 2 guard or maybe even the 3, depending on how your team runs their offense, his playmaking is going to need to get a little bit better. You want at least maybe 4 or 5 assists from your shooting guard, maybe 3 position. However, this guy only averaged about 2.5, so his playmaking could definitely use some work. However, not a ton of weaknesses in Ben Mathurin's game. I feel like he can definitely help us out. He's actually close to, if he's not, he's close to my favorite prospect the Atlanta Hawks could have on their chart as of right now. I really enjoy watching Benedict Mathurin. I think he is a very solid player, and I think he could end up being a perennial all-star very easily at the NBA level. Now, going to my next guy. This guy's a little bit more unknown, and let's say the Atlanta Hawks, they want to stay at pick 16. Well, I picked some guys that could possibly be available down there. Malachi Branham. Now, Malachi Branham's from Ohio State, averaged 13.7 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, and 2 assists on just about 50% shooting. Now, of course, the stats, they're not popping off the screen. They're not going to make you go, oh, wow. However, I think the intangibles is where it counts with Malachi right here. He's only 19 19 years old, aka one of the youngest players, if not the youngest player in the entire draft, and he has a ton of raw talent that you could possibly develop. He has great size at 6'5", just around 180 pounds, might need to gain some weight. He is a great three-point shooter as he shot over 41% from three last season. He can defend multiple positions, and I think that really does fit well in our situation because Trae Young, he's not quite a defender. He's not somebody who's going to lock you up. Well, Malachi right here out of Ohio State, he was really, really good at that in college, so I think he can definitely fit into this Atlanta Hawks system. He seems to be able to play off the ball and on the ball. Again, a thing that I think is really important with Trae Young in your backcourt, and it gives you a lot from a 19-year-old. He has a very mature game and has some great potential. However, the weaknesses do concern me with Malachi Branham. Now, Malachi does not have elite athleticism. It's not going to wow you off the screen. It's not ridiculous athleticism. It's about average at the NBA level, and sometimes he has trouble getting past more athletic defenders. He hasn't really learned how to use his body or use his techniques to get around some of the quicker and faster defenders, and as you know, in the NBA, there's some very quick, fast, and physical defenders out there, and I just want to make sure that Malachi can get around those guys. However, only 19 years old, the dude has forever to develop into a great player. That is what I like about him. Talent, raw talent, and development. If the Atlanta Hawks can stash this guy a little bit, develop him up, and maybe bring him back when he's, 21, 22 years old, I think you could possibly have a great product here. Now, going to my fourth guy and the last player on this list. I have a little bit of a mix-up coming at the end of the video, so stay tuned. However, Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin. Johnny Davis averaged 19.7 points per game, 8.2 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and shot 43% this year. Now, Johnny Davis, he's an intriguing prospect. There are reasons why he could go as high as the top 10 or as low as out of the lottery, outside of the top 15-ish picks. However, I think Atlanta should definitely look into drafting him. Now, Johnny Davis, the dude has a lot of traits in this game. Once again, he has great size for a wing or a two guard or a three at 6'7", around 200 pounds. This dude can also absolutely score the ball. He's very smooth and crafty when it comes to scoring, and I think that's a really good trait to have when you're going to the NBA. When you can get to your shots, I think that's one of the most important things on offense in the NBA today. He's also one of the best at getting to the free throw line. He averaged 6.3 free throws a game, and it put him fifth in the Big Ten this year. His defense is also way overlooked and is an underrated part of his game. Johnny Davis is a very physical and capable defender. I definitely think that fits very well next to Trae Young, as I've repeated multiple times during this video. And of course, Johnny Davis is a great rebounder at the wing position. 8.2 boards per game is very solid when looking at a 6'7" guard. Also has a lot of potential, a ton of potential, and could really be the perfect 2 or even 3 next to Trae Young out on the perimeter. Now, of course, here go the weaknesses. There are some weaknesses, and Johnny Davis, getting with the first one, his efficiency was not that great. While he's a great scorer, 43%, you kind of want to bump that up into the 45s and 46s. So efficiency is definitely a problem. Footwork and explosiveness are both very questionable parts of Johnny Davis's game. He's not really amazing at attacking the basket. He's more of a mid-range three-pointer kind of guy. He's definitely going to have to get a lot better at that, because when that shot's not falling and when you can't attack the basket, you kind of become stagnant on offense, and that's one of my concerns with Johnny Davis. His playmaking also needs to get better as well. The dude did not even average 2 assists this year, and while that may have something to do with his college system, what he was running, and how he had the ball in his hands most of the time, I still think that playmaking can definitely get better. At the 2 and the 3, you're average. You want to, get around that 4 or 5 assists per game number. 1.6 assists a game is just not going to cut it. Now, of course, going to the 5th option, I gave you guys 3 possible trades, so I mixed it up a little bit. Now, of course, for potential trade number 1, I think this trade is very intriguing. The Hawks will be trading the 16th overall pick, John Collins, and Kevin Huerter for DeJounte Murray and the 25th overall pick to the San Antonio Spurs. I think this is a perfect trade for both teams. The Atlanta Hawks will get a perfect 2 option next to Trae Young out on the perimeter, while the Spurs can get 2 young players to build around, and John Collins and Kevin Huerter, and 2 players that could really possibly become a very great fit in their systems over the next upcoming years. Definitely Kevin Huerter, man. The Spurs, Manu Ginobili, you had, I can't remember his name right now, but Manu Ginobili, they've had a lot of great 6-man, a lot of great shooters. Marco Bellinelli was the guy that I was trying to get to. So I think Kevin Huerter can really benefit from the Spurs system, and I think John Collins, while he may get flipped, aka traded from the Spurs, I think he could possibly fit in that system as well. Now, going to potential trade number 2, the Atlanta Hawks would trade the 16th pick in John Collins to the Jazz for Rudy Gobert. Now, the Jazz, they seem to be looking to trade Rudy Gobert. As we know, the Gobert and Donovan Mitchell thing has not worked out for the Jazz at all after getting eliminated by Dallas in the playoffs this year. And I think this has the possibility to give the Hawks the best front court defensively in the league. I mean, Clint Capella and Rudy Gobert in the same front court is deadly on defense. Now, going to the Jazz side of things, they'll also get John Collins in return, which I definitely think they can put him into 100% use. Another piece to add to their team. If they want to rebuild, they can maybe trade or flip John Collins. They'll be able to do that. But if they still want to contend, I think John Collins could possibly be a piece. I've always seen him as a great possible third option on a championship team. Now, of course, going to potential trade number 3, aka my favorite trade on the list. The Atlanta Hawks trade the 16th pick, John Collins and Bogdan Bogdanovic, to the Kings for the 4th overall pick and Dante DiVincenzo. Man, I think this trade can be perfect for both teams, but especially my Hawks, because, you know, looking at the background, that's obviously what I care about the most. But going into it, there's rumor that Atlanta could possibly trade up, and the Kings could definitely be a target at the 4th overall pick. This trade would give the Kings their shooter back, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who was on the team a couple of years ago, along with John Collins, which I think can have a great and grand impact on their core as a team. And of course, the 4th overall pick gives the Atlanta Hawks a chance to draft that possible 2 option next to Trae Young, along with a great 2 option in Dante DiVincenzo that could also pair up next to Trae Young. While our guy that we draft, whether that be Ivy or Mathurin, can develop, we'd have Dante DiVincenzo, who is a solid 2 or 3 piece for the Atlanta Hawks. But of course, that's going to be the end of this draft video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. I'm starting multiple channels. It's going to be like a real network now. I'm going to give you more information on that next video, so you guys stay tuned for that. However, going to give you the big bars to end this video. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish that you stay loved and stay blessed. And without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.